don't wrong precedents, and please write to me. Chairman knows now whether notice has come or not. If he has given and if it is on the way, expedite it. That's all. Kanakamadar Ravindra Kumar.
Sir, Honorable Chairman, sir, I am very thankful to you for giving this opportunity to raise an important issue pertaining to thousands and thousands of Indian students pursuing their medical studies in Ukraine, and due to ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia, their future has become a question mark. Sir, many Indian students from, including the students from Telugu states, went to Ukraine to study medicine. On 24 February 2020...
Time. All these facts are known. What is it you want to say? Because there are 3 more members. And we are going to have discussion tomorrow after the minister makes a statement.
Now,
I allowed you to make a mention. This is 0 hour.
In view of it is pertinent to laud their efforts taken by the central government of India evacuating the students in the country. Sir, evacuated students are mainly pursuing their medicine from Ukraine. Now, sir, though the safety and security of the students have been ensured, their future is at stake now. So the war between Russia and Ukraine is not likely to come end in a near future. Therefore, I urge the government to take necessary steps after consulting with the stakeholders and also including National Medical Commission. All the students
please.
returned from the Ukraine.
Venugopal. It's not going on record what you are saying.
Thank you, Chairman, sir.
Please, Ravindra Kumar.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. The students who have returned from the Ukraine due to the war are in a very, very difficult situation. Their entire family is also having most concern about their future, sir. Therefore, what is going to be done to the students is a great concern in the country now.
Right,
the education of that student has been now standstill. What is going to be done by the government? Government has to clarify it because they have to give a relief on that matter.
Right. Dr. Amar Patnaik, associate, and if you want to add any point, whoever want to associate, send a slip.
So while associating myself with the issue and with the concern raised about the students who have returned, may I make a few suggestions in line with the suggestions made by Honorable Chief Minister that you increase the seats by 2 to 5% in all the private and government medical colleges, and also take care of the 5th year, which has the clinical component, in some ingenious method so that their entire education is not.
Dr. Santanu Hussain.
My submission is due to scarcity of adequate medical education service system. They were forced to go to Ukraine for their medical studies. They were brought back, they were forced to leave Ukraine. Our government has taken the responsibility to complete their internship after they pass the eligibility test.
Right.
But my humble submission before the government, please take care of those students who were forced to leave their studies in between. Many of them are in 1st year, 2nd year and 3rd year.
Right.
Some special steps should be taken to accommodate them here in India.
Right. Santanu Senji, you are a doctor, you know the regulations of the Medical Council of India and also the other procedures. This has to be attended, I do agree, but it's a complicated matter. Dr. Sri Prabhakar Reddy, Vemi Reddy. Please.
Sir, budgetary grant for the rare disease in India, sir. The national policy for rare diseases 2021 was formulated aiming at lowering the high cost of treatment of rare diseases. Although more than 450 rare diseases have been identified in the country, less than 50% are treatable, and the Drugs Controller General of India approved treatment is currently available only for 12 to 15 of them. The health expenditure incurred in these diseases runs very high and eventually affects the patient's families. A policy also has been created, voluntary crowdfunding digital platform, seeking contributions from individuals and corporate donors. So far, only 1,15,000 has been raised, and 237 patients' treatable conditions are awaiting support of crowdfunding, sir. And I request the government to issue necessary guidelines for provision of sustainable treatment support by the Center for Treating Disorders with an increased budgetary amount, sir, by the central government.
Right. Sri Dr. Ami Agnik.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to raise a very important issue. Sir, this issue concerns the waste management and the waste that is littered on the streets of our country. Sir, in November 2019, the then Honorable Minister for Environment and Climate Change and Forest had made a statement on the Lok Sabha floor that 40% of waste, plastic waste that is collected, is lying there and not getting collected by the agencies. Sir, this littering of waste on the roads, on the streets gives rise to pollution, health hazards to citizens and our young children. Sir, those who are traveling by car do not face this problem. Those who are traveling or staying in big houses do not have this problem. But the children, the senior citizens get respiratory infections. So there should be some kind of a method, sir. And I urge the Honorable Environment Minister, also the Minister of Education, that there should be a top-down and a bottom-up policy. Sir, just picking up the broom and collecting garbage somewhere, but what happens to those heaps of garbage is not known to us. So under this mission or under whatever laws, sir, there are ample laws, but implementation of these laws or whether the local agencies are held responsible, are penalized for not seeing that the roads are clean, the litter is not picked up, or it is incinerated or treated, I think we are putting our children, our senior citizens and our citizens, exposing them to health hazards. Sir, this pollution has to stop and this civic sense has to be inculcated. Sir, continuously talking about community awareness is not going to solve the problem. Sir, we need to bring civic rights into our curriculum, and I request the government to bring a top-down and a bottom-up approach to see that this pollution is stopped.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Agree. Dr. Sonali Mansingh, whoever want to associate, please send the names on this.
थैंक यू। मैं आपको धन्यवाद देती हूँ, आपने मुझे एक गंभीर सामाजिक मुद्दे पर बोलने का अवसर दिया। महोदय, दिल्ली सरकार की अत्यंत ही निंदनीय नई आबकारी नीति का दुरुपयोग करते हुए राजधानी के कई शराब के स्टोर्स पर एक बोतल की खरीद पर दूसरी बोतल मुफ्त दी गई। जनता की ओर से इसका पूरा विरोध किया गया और कई जगह प्रदर्शन भी हुए, लेकिन दिल्ली सरकार बेफिक्र रही। जब दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट ने संज्ञान लिया तब इस स्कीम को आनन फानन में बंद किया गया। महोदय, वहीं जनता के विरोध पर निविदा के प्रावधान 3, 4, 8 के तहत लाइसेंस धारक दुकानदारों के सिर पर ठीकरा फोड़ दिया गया। जहां श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में केंद्र सरकार कोरोना से लोगों का बचाव करने में लगी है, वहीं दिल्ली सरकार कोरोना प्रोटोकॉल
ये नहीं जाएगा
उड़ाने में,
रिकॉर्ड में नहीं जाएगा। व्हाट इज द इश्यू यू वांटेड टू फ्लैग, यू हैव फ्लैग्ड इट, एंड व्हाट इज द सजेशन यू वांट टू गिव इट, दैट्स ऑल।
जी, अतः आपके माध्यम से सरकार से निवेदन है कि इस विषय का संज्ञान लिया जाए, जिससे समाज को पीड़ा देने वाली ऐसी नीतियों पर लगाम लग सके। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
राइट। इन द जीरो आवर, members are not supposed to make allegation, insinuation or charges against governments or parties. The zero hour is meant to bring something important to the notice of the House, thereby attracting the attention of the concerned. And that's why it is given priority, even superseding, what you call, preceding, even going to question hour, we have admitted this system. Please keep this in mind. It will be paining for me to cut short somebody in between and then remind them about exceeding their this thing. Brief. Please take care of this for others also. Dr. Narendra Jadhav.
Thank you, Chairman sir.
एक्साइज पॉलिसी के बारे में आपको मालूम है पूरा देश में सब स्टेट्स अलग अलग स्टेट्स में क्या हो रहे हैं, that is becoming main revenue, unfortunately.
Thank you, Chairman sir. As per the prison statistics 2018, out of the total 4.66 lakh conviction under trials in Indian prisons, 33.5% were OBCs, 20.7% were scheduled castes, 11.6% were scheduled tribes, and 18.8% were Muslims. Sir, over the last 20 years, as many as 1,888 custodial deaths were reported across the country. Out of these custodial deaths, 1,185 or 63% were those persons who were arrested but yet to be produced before the court. On the other hand, only 26 policemen have been convicted during this period as per NCRB data. This presents, sir, a grim picture of the Indian prisons. Sir, as per the NCRB data 2019, 7 out of 10 people in prisons were under trial prisoners. The reasons why most of the prisoners belonging to OBC, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and minority communities is because they are too poor to arrange for personal bond or even securities from someone to secure bails, and the lack of competent and adequate legal representation. Not surprisingly, sir, it is the prisoners from these communities who form the major part of the victims of custodial death. With only 26 policemen convicted over the past 20 years, when there are the 1,888 custodial deaths, the question arises, who will punish the law enforcers? Through you, Chairman, sir, I urge the government to kindly step in and introduce reforms that fix the liability of police officers, bring them to justice, and provide for monetary compensation to the victims' families. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Honorable members, I have to make an announcement on my behalf and on behalf of the honorable members of the House. I have great pleasure in welcoming His Excellency Mr. Wolfgang Sobotka, President of the National Council of Austria, and Her Excellency Ms. Christiana Schorwaz, President of the Federal Council of Austria, and other members of the parliamentary delegation from Austria who are on the visit to India as our honored guests. They arrived in India on Sunday, 13th March 2022, and are now seated in the special box. The delegation visited Agra yesterday and will be visiting Hyderabad before their final departure from India on Thursday, 17th March 2022. We wish them a happy and fruitful stay in our country. Through them we convey our greetings and best wishes to the National Council as well as their Federal Council of Austria, the government and the friendly people of the Republic of Austria. Honorable members, we had a Business Advisory Committee meeting today. It was agreed upon after discussion that development of Northeastern region, tribal affairs, railways, labor and employment are the 4 subjects or demands of grants of the respective ministries. They will be taken into consideration for discussion in this part of the session, and each of these demands have been allocated 4 hours. And if necessary, if the members so wish, they have to sit extra time in the evening so that they can also participate in the discussion. Whoever is asking to include their names, they will definitely get time, but after the scheduled time is over. I have already advised the Deputy Chairman also to be liberal and give opportunity to the honorable members in this regard. And not only the Deputy Chairman, whoever is panel chairman at that time. Consideration and return of appropriation bills relating to following demands after they are passed by Lok Sabha. Supplementary demands for grants 2021-22, excess demands for grants for the year 2018-19, 4 hours to be discussed together. General discussion on the budget of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir for the year 2022-23, consideration and return of appropriation bills are the following demands after they are passed by Lok Sabha. Supplementary demands for grants, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir in financial year 2021-22, demands for grants of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir for the financial year 2022-23. They will all be taken up together and 4 hours time has been allocated. consideration and passing of the appropriation relating to demands of grant 2022-23 after it is passed by Lok Sabha, consideration and return of the finance bill 2022 after it passed by Lok Sabha. They will be taken up together and they have been allocated 4 hours time. The committee also recommended that the sitting of the House fixed for Thursday, the 17th March 2022 may be cancelled because of Choti Holi on request of the members. Special mentions permitted. Dr. Santan Hussain. One has to read. In 0 hour, no reading, explaining, but here.
A notice recently issued by the Undergraduate Medical Education Board of the National Medical Commission has created a lot of confusion amongst the medical fraternity. It is the long-standing practice to take a Hippocratic oath after passing MBBS. But it seems that the said notice says that in the future, instead of taking the Hippocratic oath, they would be taking the Chorok oath. The age-old practice of the Hippocratic oath should not be stopped suddenly. Ayurveda doctors should continue taking the Chorok oath. At the most, it might be kept optional for doctors of all systems of medicine instead of making it mandatory, as it would hurt the prevailing sentiment.
Thank you. Dr. Amar Patnaik.
So I rise to make a statement on the demand for reduction of GST on health insurance policy for senior citizens. So India's health system has been put to severe test during the COVID-19 pandemic. As per the Niti Aayog's recent report titled Health Insurance for India's Missing Middle, around 30% of the population, that is 40 crore Indians, are devoid of any health insurance. Under the Ayushman Bharat, PMJY and the various state government schemes, only the bottom 50% of the population is covered. The remaining 20% of the population is covered through social health insurance and private voluntary health insurance, primarily designed for high-income groups. Studies indicate that senior citizens are some of the most underinsured groups, with only 15% health cover buyers in the age group of 60 to 80. Presently, a standard 18% GST is applied on insurance premium. As the age of the insured gradually increases, the cost of financial protection from medical risks also increases. At age 75 and above, individuals roughly pay rupees 6,858 as 18% GST as compared to rupees 4,116 between age 61 to 65. The Supreme Court in the Bandhua Mukti Morcha versus Union of India 1997 held that the right to health as a part of citizens' fundamental rights is to be interpreted as social security from disease and assistance in times of sickness. Therefore, to provide relief to our senior citizens, it is necessary to reduce the existing GST rates on health insurance policies from 18% to 5%, or exempt senior citizens from any GST on purchase of health insurance. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Dr. V. Sivadasan.
Sir, development of Kannur Airport is the matter. The Kannur International Airport is the newest airport in Kerala, and we expect positive intervention from the government of India to expedite its progress. The airport has great potential for growth, and it should be granted the point of call status urgently. At present, foreign carriers have no right to operate from the airport. It has severely affected the development of the airport. Therefore, the Kannur International Airport should be opened up for foreign carriers. Another urgent requirement is the permission for Hajj embarkation. The airport should also be included in the ASEAN Open Skies policy, which would help foreign carriers from ASEAN countries to operate to Kannur. The tank would help foreign carriers from Malaysia and Singapore to operate to Kannur. The government should consider these matters and make required action so that the Kannur Airport can operate at its full potential and contribute to the economic progress of the country. Thank you, sir.
Kannur Airport is functional now international.
Yeah, international airport for
functional now.
Functional, but we are requesting for Hajj embarkation, Hajj embarkation, and second one, point of call status. And the government, another request is government should allow the international carriers for the Kannur International Airport. This is our request.
They are not permitted the foreign carriers.
Can't sit while sitting. Dr. Fauzia Khan.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. Through this special mention, I would like to draw the attention of this august House towards the potential of the electric vehicle industry in India. Currently the 5th largest in the world, it is slated to become the 3rd largest by 2030. Since EV space is at a nascent stage, it offers the world's largest untapped market, especially in the two-wheeler segment. The report Mobilizing Electric Vehicle Financing in India has estimated that the transition to electric vehicles will require cumulative capital investment of rupees 19.7 lakh crore in EV charging infrastructure and batteries over the next decade. With a market size of rupees 3.7 lakh crore for the financing of EVs in 2030, barriers like insufficient charging infrastructure, the current high pricing of EVs, limited options, and higher dependency on imports hinder our path towards becoming a green economy. Given that there have been positive developments to increase the uptake of electric vehicles in numerous states, it is high time that we fuel the zeal further by infusing the requisite capital in the production. Hence, sir, I urge the Ministry of Power to consider speeding up the reforms on the above-mentioned challenges to accelerate progress. I strongly feel that in India's aim to reduce carbon emissions by 33 to 35% till 2030, the contribution of the progress in boosting the sector can reap multiple spillover benefits, considering that the contribution to the automobile sector to the manufacturing GDP is close to 50%, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Sri John Britas.
Sir, during the pandemic, we understood the relevance of continuing with the critical infrastructure in the health sector. Sir, HLL Life Care is one of the PSUs under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and played a pivotal role in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic as a nodal agency of the government. So the government of India has decided to sell off this profit-making PSU. And this PSU became a successful venture because the state of Kerala contributed 19 acres of land free of cost, sir. So the Kerala government had requested the government of India to stop the disinvestment and the sell-off. And if at all they are very particular about sell-off, they should hand over this PSU to the Kerala government. Sir, recently we also had taken over one of the central PSUs, that is Hindustan Newsprint. Now the government of India has come up with a strange reason that they will not hand over this central PSU to state governments. I demand that the government withdraw this very strange reasoning and should permit the Kerala government to take over the Hindustan Life Care Unit. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. These special mentions, whatever is given in the notice, they should be read. I am repeating again for convenience of the members who have not understood it. Sri Vijay Sai Reddy. Issue has been raised by members in due hour. What are the additional points you want to say?
Sir, Chairman, sir, at the outset, I applaud the government's initiative to evacuate stranded Indians from war-torn Ukraine, but it is concerning that more than 20,000 of these Indians are students pursuing medical education in Ukraine, and in the light of the ongoing conflict, the fate of their education hangs in balance. Apart from trauma of escaping warlike conditions, these students are facing agony of disruption in their medical career. The situation in Ukraine continues to remain unsafe with no certainty of normalcy in the near future, and hence Indian students cannot be expected to return to Ukraine to resume their studies. In such an unprecedented circumstances, immediate steps should be taken on humanitarian grounds to accommodate such students within Indian medical universities as an exceptional case. When an ongoing medical college in India is shut down, we have a proper procedure through which the students are appropriately absorbed, disbursed into their other medical schools in India. A special transfer procedure along with similar lines can also be formulated for medical students returning from Ukraine on temporary basis until it becomes safe for them to return to Ukraine. Therefore, I urge the government to be sympathetic to the plight of these students and take necessary measures for protecting their future by enabling seamless continuance of their studies in Indian medical colleges. Thank you, sir.
Please send your names. Sri Subhash Chandra Bose.
Honorable Chairman, sir, thank you very much, sir. The central government is doing its best to ensure equitable representation. There is one institution that needs urgent reformation. The higher judiciary statistics of representation shows an immediate need to take steps in favor of diversity and minority representation. The data shows that since 1950, there have been only 5 scheduled caste judges, namely Justice K. Ramaswamy, Justice K.J. Barla Krishnan, and B.C. Roy, A. Varadarajan, and Justice B.R. Gowai. And recently, Justice Sivakumar were appointed in the Supreme Court after 2 decades from the scheduled caste. The National Commission for Scheduled Castes, in its 2016 report on reservation in judiciary, states that as of 2011, there were only 24 judges belongs to SC, ST, against a total of 850 judges in all the 21 high courts. Moreover, 14 out of the 21 courts did not have a single SC or ST judge. This is the humble request. This is my humble request that this issue is to be immediately corrected via legislature.
Thank you. Right. Sri Muhammad Nadimul Haq, Medical Education.
For allowing me. Sir, the Russia-Ukraine conflict has exposed the inefficiencies plaguing the Indian medical education system, as the sheer number of Indian students pursuing medical education abroad has become apparent. Medical education in India is unaffordable and competitive, forcing aspirants from lower and middle income families to pursue medicines in countries where it is cheaper and less competitive. The fee charged in India on average ranges from 14 lakhs in government colleges to about 60-70 lakhs in private colleges. Additionally, sir, it is alleged that the qualifying marks for NEET are kept low at 19% to expand the pool of students who can afford fees as high as 1.25 to 1.5 crores. This acts as a filter, forcing poorer but meritorious students to seek education abroad, following which they are required to appear for the foreign graduate medical exam to practice medicine in India. Sir, with this thought in mind, I earnestly urge the government to take expeditious measures to revamp the country's medical education infrastructure and make it more responsive to the needs of the common man.
Right, thank you. Sri Vinay Viswam. Vinay Viswam, special mention, difficulties faced by workers in the right of disinvestment of PSU.
Workers of the country are facing
Zero hour, sorry. 0 hour. See, whenever I exhaust the names after they complete their submissions, if there is still time available, I started the practice of taking the remaining this thing. In taking the remaining names, there is a problem. Certain people have given notice about issues, for example, which can be discussed now in the appropriation bill. So the same thing, you cannot take it up in 0 hour. Keeping that in mind, this
Thank you very much, sir.
Please.
It was a generous approach from you. We all appreciate it. I am grateful to you. Sir, the matter I raised was regarding the workers' issue of this country. No doubt they are the wealth creators. The government often talk about the wealth creators. We believe the wealth creators are not the super rich. The real creators of the wealth are the workers and the peasants. So the workers in India are faced with a lot of problems. Their living conditions are going down. The labor codes affected them very badly. Sir, in this situation, we are facing a situation that the PSUs of the country are put on sale, all of them. Sir, the country always hear the government talking a lot about the Atmanirbhar Bharat. But that government is inviting the FDI to come and conquer India's own industries and establishments. In this situation, the most affected group are the workers. So they are forced to go for a strike on 28th and 29th of March. So this strike is a national strike. It is for the country's future, for the upliftment of the common masses. It is for the cause of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So with this in mind, I know very well that the BMS also have, even though not party to the strike, even they also
to make point whether it is
they also share the views.
That's okay. So what?
Share the views. So I request the government urgently to intervene and to have a talk with the Indian trade unions and see how these questions can be addressed in a very responsible way. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Tamidurai. Tamidurai ji is there?
Yes, sir. Just I want to raise an important issue, sir, regarding the interstate water dispute. I already given, sir. See, now, whereas, especially South India, most of the states facing a lot of problem regarding the water sharing. For example, Kaveri issue is a very big issue in Tamil Nadu. We have raising many times in the House that Karnataka government has come forward to construct the Meghadadu Dam. Because if they are constructing, it is going to affect Tamil Nadu farmers. And also, there is Supreme Court already given a decision. They must not construct any new dams, anything, without consent of the other states like Kerala, Pondicherry, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. When that is the case, how can the state government come forward and announce in their budget they are going to construct Meghadad? It is going to affect the farmers, and also because you know very well the water is very scarce in the Kaveri issue. Sometimes floods coming, they are arriving. But when there is no water, at that time they are not sharing at all. Many times Supreme Court also given direction, and also Commission considered also the insisted, but upper Karnataka government is not fulfilling. Now this kind of raising issue, unnecessarily creating problem. Therefore, I request the central government to intervene and see solve this problem, not to construct a Meghadadu Dam, which affects the Tamil Nadu farmers and Pondicherry people.
Thank you. Please send your names. Send name so that you will get an opportunity to be included in the list. Huh?
Honorable Member.
You don't reply to him. If you want to say something, please say.
Okay.
Because it will again controversy, and I understand. That's why I was also cautiously watching him of what he is going to say. Because we should not further create tension between the states. Parliament, Rajya Sabha being a forum of the states, I have to naturally permit members, but within that particular this thing of not creating aspirations on the other states or making charges and all. If there is any reference to any other state making a particular charge, it will be deleted from the records. This is for general observation, not only for this issue. Honorable members, the House today will take up discussion on northeastern states. We will start the discussion on demands for grants today, initiating the debate on northeastern states. So people should take advantage of the same, because I have been to northeast, just reached yesterday, Mizoram and Sikkim. Earlier I have spent nearly 6 days, that means total 8 days in northeastern states. A lot of progress is being made, but there are a lot of issues concerning each state of the northeastern region. They are very important for us, even our security point of view. Murali ji, baith ke baat. and also our strategic point of view. Keeping that in mind, whatever you feel is useful for the development of Northeastern region, members from other regions also, because they are also interested about the welfare of the Northeast. They are free to take part in the discussion. I have already told the Deputy Chairman and panel chairmen, if necessary, time will be extended beyond 6 o'clock in the evening. In addition to that, the other subjects that have been taken up, which have been read out, they will also be put in the bulletin, and members are requested to study those subjects also and come prepared to the House. And often members complain that they are not given adequate time. When time is given, and if there is no sufficient number of people to participate in the discussion, the chair cannot do anything. Keep that in mind. And the other House, I am not supposed to mention and make a comparison, sometimes is sitting up to 12 o'clock. And we are elders.